So your realtor asked you to sign a buyer representation agreement. Find out what that is in this video. Let's go. Hi, I'm John Sain, Managing Broker of Pointe Real Estate. You may have heard about the National Association of Realtors litigation settlement in the news. Part of that settlement was the requirement of all realtors to get a written buyer agreement signed before showing properties. Before we can show you a property either in person or virtually, we must have a buyer representation agreement signed. So what is a buyer representation agreement? It is a written agreement between you and the real estate professional outlining what services they provide and what compensation they should receive for those services. These agreements are completely negotiable. The compensation they receive, the term limit of the agreement, and the services they provide are all negotiable. We do recommend a term length of 3 to 6 months. That way, that gives us adequate time to find you a suitable property, and that way you're not having to sign a new buyer representation agreement every time you want to go take a tour of a property. But what if you don't feel comfortable signing an agreement for that long? Remember, these agreements are negotiable, and we want to make sure that you're 100% satisfied with your decision to work with us. That means you can exit the agreement. This is something you will want to discuss with your real estate agent. What if you're willing to work with the agent, but don't want to pay their commission? Hey, I get it, but unfortunately, we can't work for free. However, the best part of the buyer representation agreement is that your agent works for you and you alone. That means it's your agent's responsibility to serve your best interest. Your agent will advise and negotiate on your behalf, especially when it comes to their commission. They will negotiate with the seller to get their commission covered. However, in the event the seller refuses to pay your agent's commission, it then becomes your responsibility to cover that agent's commission per the buyer representation agreement or find a more suitable property. Let's take a quick look at a buyer representation agreement. This is an exclusive buyer representation agreement. The first section just states who the parties are that are involved, so us as the brokerage and you as the buyer. The first major section is the term limit of the agreement, so how long the agreement will last. The second section is the type of property you, the client, are interested in. We generally keep this section kind of generalized to make sure that we don't exclude any suitable properties. The third section is the client duties. So these are all the duties that you, the client, owe us as part of this agreement. The fourth section is the compensation. So this is how the agent will be paid in the event that the sellers are not willing to pay your agent's commission. But remember, it's our job to serve your best interest, so we will try our best to negotiate this on your behalf so that you're not covering your agent's commission. The fifth section are the agency definitions. So for this particular contract, the only one that you need to be concerned with is number 2, designated agent for the buyer. And I'll go ahead and read this. The individual licensee that has been assigned by the managing broker and is working as an agent for the buyer in this consumer's prospective transaction to the exclusion of all other licensees in the company. Even if someone else in the licensee's company represents a seller of a prospective property, the designated agent for the buyer shall continue to work as an advocate for the best interests of the buyer. An agency relationship by law can only be established by a written agency agreement. And then the next section are the duties owed to all parties to a transaction. Pursuant to the Tennessee Real Estate Broker License Act, every real estate licensee owes the following duties to every buyer and seller, tenant, and landlord, unless otherwise provided by law. And then the final section are the duties owed to you, the client, by your real estate professional. Section D are the agent disclosures. Section E is where the managing broker assigns and appoints your real estate professional to be your designated agent. Section 6 is confidentiality, so anything that you wish to disclose or not disclose. Section 7 is information about the earnest money. 8 is limitations on brokers' authority and responsibilities. 9 is the sanctioned foreign business, governments, and non-resident aliens. 10 is your expert assistance. 11 is any other provisions. So binding effect, entire agreement, modification and assignment, governing law and venue, terminology, severability, and fair housing. And then section 12 is just letting you know that this is a legal contract. And then 13 are any addenda that need to be added to the agreement. And 14 are any special stipulations for the agreement that are not already written into the contract. Then your section for the signatures, and that is the buyer representation agreement. So when do you have to sign the buyer representation agreement? You'll be asked to sign the buyer representation agreement prior to touring any properties. If you're going to an open house on your own, or having a consultation with a real estate professional, in those cases, you do not have to sign a buyer representation agreement. I hope this video answered your questions about the buyer representation agreement. They're intended to provide transparency for the services you should expect to receive from your real estate professional. If this video was helpful, be sure to check out these other videos. Remember, home starts with us. Till next time, thanks for watching.